What's going on, everybody? I'm Jerry, and today we got my Week 11 picks going over every game. I do score predictions, straight up picks, and against the spread picks all in one video. Some people, they just do separate videos. You got to watch three. This one, you're going to get it all in one video. Last week, I uploaded a Bears video named Bears Fans Need to Watch This. I'll link it down in the description. Go watch that video. Please give it a like. I'm trying to get that video to 10 likes so I can do another Bears video. Big Bears fan. Want to do one hopefully every week. But I've got a lot to say about the Bears. A lot of knowledge too, being a fan my whole life. So check that out. Like that video. We're at like 6 or 7. Let's get it to 10. All right, 10's a very easy number. So do that for me. And let's just get right into this video. Like this video too. Comment, subscribe, do all that. First off, we got Bengals Ravens. There's a lot of tough games to pick. I mean, you can see the two in the thumbnail. Obviously, the biggest games of the week. But this one ended up being an at-home thing for me. The Ravens have looked like a consistent team. They just lose to the Browns. But I think they'll want to fight back and they'll want to get one against the Bengals this week. Just with how last week went, bad loss. They're at home. I just think they're the more consistent team. They have one of the best defenses in the league. So if they can slow down Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, they haven't been giving the ball to Joe Mixon. So I don't think the Bengals are going to be able. I think they're going to screw that up again. They're not going to hand it to him as much as they should. And then they'll end up losing the game. I got 28-24. I do look at the spreads, obviously, because I put them in here before I make the picks. But I don't look at the over-under because so far this year, I've gotten some picks where one team, I guess the perfect score, or I guess the spread is perfect. So I'm just going to keep rolling with that until I'm screwing it up. But I'm taking the Ravens straight up and against the spread in this one, 28-24. Next, I have the Chargers going into Green Bay and winning. Green Bay is a tough place to play, especially for a Southern team like the Chargers. The Chargers have looked really good as far as, and they do find ways to lose games, but they've looked really good on offense, which the Packers have not. So I think the Packers normally let up around 20 points early on, and then they try to come back and can't. I think the Chargers are a little better, so I think the Chargers I think 27 is a pretty fair amount. I think they'll go up early in the first half, and then Packers will try to come back and probably will come back a little bit, but not enough, just like they have every week. Chargers take down the Packers 27-21, covering that 3-point spread. Next, I have the Titans and the Jaguars. I wanted to find a way for the Titans to win with a 7-point spread. I just couldn't. It's close. I think this could be close, but I think that's crazy to say. I think buying into the Jaguars just getting absolutely smoked by the 49ers last week. But I feel like the Titans, they had their first week, they played well. And if Derrick Henry can run the ball better, then they're going to have a chance in this game. And that's why I think he's had a couple bad weeks. So I think he has a good week. They actually put up, 13 points. But I think the Jaguars are not happy about getting absolutely slaughtered last week. I think Calvin Ridley has a better game. Christian Kirk kind of shined last week. So I think this is Calvin Ridley's week. And then I think Etienne's going to do well too. I know the Titans have a pretty decent run defense, but I don't know. I'm taking the Jaguars. 7 points wasn't enough for me. I got the Jaguars winning 24-13, covering that 7-point spread. Next, we have the Raiders Dolphins. With it being 12.5, I really wanted to find a way to cover that they can cover like 20, 23. I guess it would be 23-35. Just couldn't do it for me. The Dolphins, I really wanted them to, because like 12.5 points is a lot of points for a team that's won back-to-back weeks. But I don't think the Raiders are on Dolphins level. They beat some good teams. I think they'll find ways to put up points. I think they're going to score points because they're going to force some turnovers. I do think the Raiders could actually win the turnover battle, and this was just crazy to say because you got Tua against Aiden O'Connell. But I think they could. I'd like to see a lot of Josh Jacobs in this game just because I think the corners and the DBs in Miami are good, and I think they're still going to get the ball to Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, but I think the Dolphins. I think they're going to win. Like coming off a bye week, I think it's just too easy to have them not win by a large margin So I got them covering, 18 points, 18-point win, 35-17, covering the 12 and a half. But it was tough. I really wanted them to cover. This one, I thought about it too. Panthers are at home. They played in some close games. But what we do know is Bryce Young will turn the ball over. And because we know that, and the Cowboys can get turnovers, and their offense with how they've been clicking, I had said that the Cowboys are going to need their offense to click consistently to make a playoff run. And I'd been low on the Cowboys. And I don't think the offense clicking has been. I mean, it's been consistent now. I guess what is it, 3 weeks in a row that they've done well, but I don't know. I guess I just need to see more. But this week is not going to be the week. Well, this week could be the week they prove it. Not going to be the week that they get beat down. I don't see the Panthers beating the Cowboys in any way. And I think 10.5. It's kind of odd that this is only 10.5, but the previous game that was 12.5, the Raiders and the Dolphins. That seemed odd to me. But Cowboys take down the Panthers 38-20. Maybe the books know something that I don't know. Very, very well could be. This one was really tough too. I feel like against the spread, you got to pick the Cardinals here because the Texans have been a good team and they've had these comeback wins. But the fact that the Cardinals with Kyler Murray and with James Conner back are getting 4.5 points, if it's another field goal game-winning field goal game, or even one touchdown game, I think maybe they're betting on if the Texans win, they're gonna get a game-winning touchdown or something. So maybe that's what the case is. But for me, with how close the games have been, I think I wanted to have the Texans win, and then the Cardinals covering. But I just feel like there's they got their back-to-back game winners. I think they're going to underestimate Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals, I don't believe in them to be a great team or anything, but you got to pick an upset every once in a while. And the Cardinals Texans 24-20, which is weird because I picked an upset last week. It was 24-20. I think it was the Seahawks. Yeah, Seahawks Commanders. I picked the Commanders to take them down by 4 points, but taking the Cardinals in this one, you got to pick some underdogs, and I feel like this is one, especially with the 4 points, like against the spread, I feel like that's a no-brainer. But maybe an overreaction after a week. We'll see. Steelers-Browns, basically they announced that Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to start, and that was what kind of put me over the edge. He didn't look great last time that he played. P.J. Walker, although also not looking great, he did what he could to win. And I don't know if I even pick them to win if he plays. I think if Deshaun Watson plays, obviously he's not going to play. He's out for the season now with this shoulder surgery. But if Deshaun Watson plays, I'm probably picking the Browns to win this. But with the unknowns of Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he played well in the preseason, but that's about the only good tape that we have. So I'm taking the Steelers down. Kenny Pickett hasn't been turning over the ball. The run game's gotten better, and their defense is still a pretty good one in the league. So I'm taking the Steelers. Next, we have the Commanders, Giants. This one only being 9.5 kind of surprised me too because the Commanders know how to put up points and have done that well. And the Giants can't put up points. Sure, there's been a couple games where the Commanders only get a touchdown or two and lose because of it. But I think against a struggling defense in the Giants, I just feel like it makes sense to me to have the Commanders win this one and have them win by a lot. So I'm taking him. I think Sam Howell's going to have a great game. He'll probably have another 300-yard game, keeping the passing yard title. Obviously, I have them winning and covering 31-10, covering that spread. Next, we have the Bears-Lions. This one was kind of tough for me too. It's really, you kind of have to pick how do you think Justin Fields is going to play in his first week back. He's been out for a month and a half now, or a month and a week. So he's just coming back. He's got to play the Lions in Detroit. It's probably the least ideal situation. Only positive is the Lions just gave up almost 40 points to the Chargers last week. So maybe you could run with that. The defense has played well and been one of the better defenses in the league the last 4 weeks. They've also played against some pretty shitty teams. So I think that's probably part of the reason. So this is really going to be a wake-up call. Playing up against one of the best offenses in the league. That's why I'm holding them to 24, which is actually a low-scoring game for the Lions. minus that minus that Ravens game where they just got smoked. But yeah, I think the Bears will find a way to score a touchdown, probably get a couple field goals, or maybe miss an extra point. That's where the 13 comes from. And I just don't see them being able to keep up with the Lions. I'd love to be wrong, and I would love for Justin Fields to come back and have a great game, but I don't see it happening. So the Bears lose to the Lions 13-24. Next we have Buccaneers 49ers. This one surprised me the most, that it's an 11.5, the second largest spread against a Buccaneers team that, again, I don't believe in. I don't think that they're great, and I don't look at them as like a playoff contender or anything like that. I think they're a little overrated. Rashad White's been good out of the backfield in the receiving game more than the run game, but he's been good, and I think, between him, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, their defense, you got Vita Vea in there. I think they can at least be competent against the 49ers, and 11.5 seemed like too much for me, so I had to have them cover. 28-17 seems right because I think it could still be a two-score victory. I think you could see, 10 or 11 point, even just a one touchdown win. But so I definitely am very confident the 49ers are going to win this. But I'm taking Buccaneers against the spread. I feel like they can cover that. Especially 49ers did have a strand of 3 weeks where they didn't look good. So I know they just dominated the Jaguars, but wasn't enough for me. Seahawks, Rams, I really wanted to pick an underdog in this one, but with Matt Stafford being in and out of injury protocol, they don't really know what they're doing at running back. They have their two good receivers, but in Puka and Cooper Kupp. But I don't know. I really wanted to pick the Rams because I feel like Geno Smith had a clean week last week, but it was against the Commanders. He didn't have any turnovers, finally, he'd been bad turnovers all year. Doesn't turn the ball over, and then they only win by a couple points against the Commanders. So, I mean, I'm kind of talking myself into the Rams. I'm just going to, every week I've stuck with my gut. I'm taking the Seahawks. I think that when playing all together, I think they could be the better team. And, when healthy and, if Geno's not making mistakes, I think they win the game. But this one was really tough for me. I did end up taking the Seahawks. SoFi Stadium, you're never really actually the home team. So I think kind of take that into account too. But I'm taking the Seahawks against the spread and money line. Would have been a good one to split. Jets, Bills. Bills have been struggling on offense. You fire your offensive coordinator. I don't think that's going to be enough to ruin them, though. I have the Jets, 13. I think that's just because they beat the Bills, beat the Jets too. Just random really good weeks. But I don't know. I'm going to say they don't have their number again. It'd be a really easy game to pick them. Sorry, the alarm just went off. Be a really easy week to have them cover. But because of the problems last week, I just not great. So I'm taking the Bills to cover against the Jets. I think it's a close game, but lower scoring game. Vikings Broncos. This one, it's tough because it's both of the teams that have just kind of gotten hot recently. Where Broncos just beat the Chiefs and the Bills, and then the Vikings just beat the Saints and the Falcons. So not great teams. But they've looked really good, and they're getting Justin Jefferson back. I believe he's playing this week. I know he practiced. I don't know if they're confident that he plays this week. I actually didn't see that, but I don't think that makes a big difference. They're 1-4 with him, 5-0 without him. So Josh Dobbs has looked really good. I don't know if they're going to be able to plan for him. The Broncos defense has not been good, so I think the Vikings, no matter what, are going to be able to put up points. I mean, the Broncos, I guess I should say, the Broncos defense recently has been good, but statistically over the year, they have not been great. And recency bias would say, well, Jerry, they're getting better. So do you think they can hold back the Vikings? But I don't think they do. I don't think they know how to plan for a Josh Dobbs-led Vikings team. And I think this could be a big wake-up call week for the Vikings. Make it or break it kind of for the Broncos too. Be easy to pick them to lose, but getting points too. I'm taking the Vikings, taking them against the spread. They're going into Denver, which not a great idea, but I'm taking it anyway. I got the Vikings with the upset here, winning 31-28. Then next we have Eagles Chiefs. This is the final game of the week. one of the biggest games of the week that when I originally did this, I picked the Eagles. I was like, I think the Eagles are going to win. I go, you know what? It's hard to play in Kansas City. So I ended up taking the Chiefs. I think the home field advantage really is the advantage in this one. I'm taking the Chiefs 28-24. I like the Eagles. If you watch my power rankings video, you know I'm very high on them right now. But they've got a tough stretch of games these next 4 or 5 weeks. Eagles are going to lose. Probably they might go 2-2, or whatever it is, 2-3, 3-2, and then I think it's the next 4 or 5 weeks. They play like Ravens, Chiefs, 49er. It's just all like Cowboys, I think, is the other team. It's just juggernauts. So I'm taking the Chiefs, though. I think they're going to play the more complete game. Their defense has been better. So as long as Mahomes and Kelsey can get it together and the wide receivers aren't dropping it, they're going to have a good day. Whereas the Eagles, their defense has kind of struggled and their offense has been the one to win it. And I think the Chiefs' defense is going to perform better than the Eagles' offense, as crazy as that is to say, with all the weapons and A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, um, DeAndre Swift. So I'm taking the Chiefs cover against the Eagles 28-24 in the Monday Night Football game. Let's go over my all-season record. Last week was a good week for me. We got 8-6. Those are the straight up picks that I have on the screen in the big font there, and on the left and the right side of the screen. Against the spread, I did even better though. 10-4 last week against the spread. So honing back in on even at 71-78, and then better rushing team 102-47. Better rushing team is for when I mention every week, but if you haven't heard it before, if you're a new viewer, it's if you get more yards, you're probably winning, unless the other team's yards per carry is significantly better. I'll base it on that. If rushing yards are tied, I pick the yards per carry, or if they're close. Vice versa. Usually there's one team that's significantly better than the other team in rushing. And if you're betting and you think that there's a team that runs the ball really well and another team that doesn't have a great run defense, it's actually been a really good pick against the spread, as long as it's not the Chicago Bears, the Tennessee Titans, and the Atlanta Falcons. They typically lose games, although they always pretty much run the ball better against every team. So don't pick that for those teams. Keep that in mind for every other game. All season records 85-64. Like to do better. I'm not super happy with that. I need to have a really good week here, so I'm hoping for the best. I had a couple hot take picks this video, but we'll see what happens. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and have a great day.